Hey everybody! Thanks for stopping by for episode 2. We're going to take a look at a couple different RTF packages. I'll give you my thoughts on things that I think you need to look out for and things to be aware of. Stay tuned. Alright guys, so let's jump right into this. Now, before we hop into our intended target, okay, what I want to do is just talk about some of the things you'll find when you're searching for RTF drones or quadcopters. Alright? Now the first thing I want you to look out for is toy grade stuff like this. This is not going to make anybody happy. They can be fun indoors, when the weather's bad, but they're not real versatile. And I'm going to be honest, you can find things that are a little more versatile, even more durable, if you just shop around a little bit. So for this price, I mean, why? Why are we going to go buy all this crap that we can't use anywhere for $200? And that's before shipping, okay? Now, as we go over, we're going to find other things too that qualify as toy grade, okay? So I'm going to click into this real quick just so we can take a look at this as well. Because keep in mind, this is brushless. This is not quite toy grade, okay? But as you go through and you start looking at this and looking to see what's included, you're going to notice there's either not a transmitter, aka remote control, the thing that you hold in your hands to give flight instructions. Transmitter, remote control, the thing you hold in your hands to give flight instructions. You're going to notice that either it doesn't state what type of controller it comes with, or it doesn't come with one at all, which is highly, highly misleading for an RTF package. Okay? Now with this, we can see the remote. This is a toy grade remote now. It looks to be a little more capable. It is a FreeSky remote. It does come with a FreeSky receiver, so I'm sure it'll get you started, but most people aren't going to want something that's too, what's the word I'm looking for? Off the beaten path, okay? And the biggest reason being, when you go to set this thing up, if you can't find good documentation or good videos on YouTube and you're having problems figuring out how to use it or determining if there's even a problem with it, then it's going to cause you some grief. All right? So the long and short is stay away from toys. All right? Things like this. Now, for that price, you can buy them all day. You're not going to be too terribly upset. This thing probably claims to be, similar to one of those aerial photography drones like a Spark or a Mavic. And again, for this price, you're going to get what you pay for. Now, the other thing I want to show you is you're going to find a lot of RTF packages out there that have what I'm going to call specialized frames. Okay? Now, the Shuriken is one that went over really well, and it was very, very popular. This Fusion is along the same lines, but something that, I'm going to be honest, I don't think I've ever heard of before here. Now, this is an older, still good, but this is an older design. It's a little more encapsulated. And the reason I'm going here is it's going to require more work to do work on these. It's going to require more specialized parts if you need to replace something. So that's why I want you to be careful of these. All right? Let's take another look because now I'm curious over here at this Fusion. All right. Yeah, and I mean, look at this thing. It looks neat, but to work on this thing, I mean, look, it even uses some specialized camera, it looks like. So, I mean, I would be really wary of stuff like this. All right? So, with those items said, where I really want to take you is down the road of the Eachine Wizard. Okay? Going forward, that's what we're going to be working with. It's what we're going to be looking at, and I'm going to be taking you through the process of setting one up from front to back. Okay, I have one sitting here on the shelf that is in its stock state. And starting with the next episode, we're going to get started with that and just start tearing through it. The key features that I would be looking for, again, something that's well documented, that has a large user base, that has a really good strong following, because as I run into things, I want to be able to find examples. That is one reason we've settled on this to use for this series. Okay, it already has a huge cult following. Huge. Now the other thing is that the frame is just a standard racing frame. Now when I say standard, Eachine has put together their own kind of version of like a mini Alien or something of that nature, because it's not quite as big as those fuller size frames, and it doesn't need to be, but it's pretty standard. When you look at this, you can use any FPV camera in here, standard mounting for the FPV camera, or you could even take those side plates out and use provided mounts. When you look at this thing, it takes standard LiPo batteries, it uses all the standard connectors, you have standard, over-the-arm ESCs. Like, everything about this is ideal. Now, there's some extra stuff that when we get into it, we might talk about removing, or the optional nature of it, okay? But for all intents and purposes, this is an ideal package for something that would be very useful for us starting out, and that we could easily upgrade and repair as things progress. Now when we look at this also comes with everything you need to get in the air. It comes with multiple sets of props, comes with the quad itself, comes with tools for changing props, comes with a charger, a single battery, some extra or spare zip ties, and then the remote. Now, something we touched on earlier was quality of remote, and I don't want you to think that this is some $200 transmitter, okay? This is not anything that is going to get anybody's eye or is going to impress anybody. But for what it is, this is a really good remote that I still use up to today, and I don't have any problems with. There's some little things that we'll get into again when we get into that configuration video, but again, for all intents and purposes, this is a very good receiver, a very good transmitter that you can use with other aircraft, that you can use with standard receivers. You can't see that because it's built into here, that you'll be able to use across the board. Okay? Now, as we start looking for that, we find a package that we're interested in. You start looking, you'll see that you can get these from Banggood. But you can get them stateside at places too. One of the places that you can get these is Grayson Hobby. Now, Grayson does a great job of upselling, okay? Especially this RTF package here. So let's hop into here and take a look at what Grayson's doing. Someday. There we go. Now, notice that right now they're also out of stock. And notice the price difference, okay? You're going to pay a little bit more stateside. A little bit more, not a ton, to get this typically. Now, Grayson puts their own PID tuning on here. They put, their own rates in place, and they put multiple profiles in place as well. They use a two-stage arming. One, I think in beta flight it's called a pre-arm, where the long and short is it requires you to flip 2 switches to get this thing armed. And then one of the additional things that they will sell you, or that you can start adding on, are additional batteries, a battery charger. I'm going to tell you that I think you should forego this, and this is after seeing what they sent to somebody when they ordered through Grayson. And not because it's terrible, I just don't think it was the right choice to make. Okay? Now, obligatory trip over to the Drone Logic, because this guy is stateside. He operates out of Killeen, Texas, and you'll see that not only does he have spare props, but this package is the same thing we were showing you over at Grayson or over at Banggood. Comes with everything you need, but look at his price. Okay, he's stateside. He's doing a lot of work to get good quality stuff in here. He wants to be able to service the United States, and without having to wait 2-3 months for things to get here. He's got a lot of other things that over time we're going to go through that you're going to want and need as well. So keep all that in mind, and I'm going to plug this guy as where you want to go to buy one of these. Okay, so head on over to thedronelogic.com, find the Eachine Wizard package, and get started with that. Alright, so that concludes this episode of What's a Noob to Do. Tune in next time, and we will unpackage our wizard and start working through the setup and configuration. Happy crashing.